Story motherfucking time. So sometime ago, one of my lovely fans decided to share a story with me. Now, this story is based upon true events, but this individual, this lovely fan of mine, would like to remain anonymous, and in order to keep certain parts of this story sacred and to maintain the respect and the integrity of this individual, I am going to use my creativity to switch certain things up and express that it is based upon true events. Okay? Now, if you like stories like Epstein Street, you like stories like Room 22, The Unseen Neighbor, this is a story for you. There are sad elements, there are spooky elements, there are very interesting elements, and I do feel like you will overall end up enjoying the story. Also, thank you for the birthday wishes. Also, I have memberships. There's level 1 and level 2. Level 1 will be vlogging with me and my little sister. I'll be talking about my glasses. And you know, me and my sister will be talking shit. And on level 2, I will be talking about stories that my grandmother shared with me. You'll have early access to my stories in addition to the vlogging with me and my sister. Go ahead and take a look. Let the story begin. So this individual, the main character, we can call her Michelle. Michelle goes to a slumber party. And the house that she's having this slumber party at, or she's attending the slumber party at, is her best friend Mary's house. Mary and her are best friends, super close knit, super tight. They love each other. There's a bunch of other little girls. I think there's a hair on my chin. What is that? 5 or 6 other girls. They're all super close friends. Okay? They're all close. They're young. All they know is that they love hanging out with each other. And they're about to get hopped up on some sugar and some popcorn and some Disney movies and the super cute guy in the romance comedies that they don't really understand, okay? So fast forward, the night progresses, some of the girls fall asleep. The parents, Mary's parents, upstairs are trying not to fall asleep so that they can periodically check on the girls, but they're also old and adults and they fell asleep because I am an adult and I want to go to sleep, okay? Anyways. Mary and Michelle, as I've mentioned, best friends. The other girls have fallen asleep. They've all trickled off to sleep, but Mary and Michelle, they're staying up. They're talking and laughing and giggling and just being best friends, being little girls, being your average 6-year-old. Please keep in mind, Mary's parents were very flexible, very fun-loving, very open-minded, liberal parents. So there were a lot of things that they partook in as adolescents that they still sometimes partake in as adults with a child. And when that happens, you run the risk of the child seeing you partake in activity that you probably shouldn't be partaking in front of your child. And that extracurricular activity, in this particular case, hopefully none of your minds are dirty. It's drugs, all right? You know, marijuana, all right? So of course, Mary caught them doing it in Dad's office one day, you know, and Dad's office is a dope office. It's got those like those, I don't know if the right word is panel doors, those like beautiful doors that like open, then you walk onto the balcony. It was a nice home. And that's where they indulged. That's where Mary's parents lived their best life. Mary wanted to try it. And so she told Michelle, I have to show you something. They climb up the stairs, they go to Dad's office, and they close the door and they open the drawer that Mary saw Dad pull the good stuff out of, and she pulls out this lighter, and she pulls out the joint, and she tells Michelle, I think we should try it. Michelle is 6, the two of them are 6. They're not gonna know how to do this. The point is, they're 6 and they're curious and they're gonna try, and there's absolutely no one or nothing that's going to stop them. Mary tries to light it. She has no idea what she's doing. She burns her finger, she drops the lighter. Michelle picks up the lighter, she's like, it's okay, let me try. Mind you, they're hiding behind this little curtain. Not a good hiding spot because you could see right through the curtain. But they think they're hiding because they're 6. That's where the door's supposed to open, but they lock those doors at night, as they very well should. So Michelle does get the lighter, she does light the joint, and they're standing there fascinated. Michelle's just holding on to the lighter like, whoa. And so the curtain catches on fire. And the two of them initially don't notice until they notice, and then they panic. And instead of telling their parents, Mary's just afraid that she's gonna get in so much trouble, so they just run back downstairs and try to pretend that it's all gonna go away, because that's what you do when you're that young and you're scared to get in trouble. Which also means things get out of hand. Things get pretty bad pretty quickly. So because things get really bad really quickly, eventually mom and dad do end up waking up. It's a mess. So with Mary being scared shitless now that she's made a huge mess, she runs and she hides. The parents do what they're supposed to do. They round up the kids and they get them outside. Dad's like, where is my child? He's running all over the house trying to find her, and you're not thinking straight because you're panicking. Running, running, running. Fast forward to the unfortunate truth, Mary doesn't make it out. Mary does not make it out. The fire department gets there and has to pry that father out of that home. And Michelle witnesses the mother and the father devastated. Devastated. So everybody's parents comes and picks them up. Michelle ends up having to see a child psychologist, as well as probably the other girls that were involved in the whole situation. And, you know, they're trying to work through the grief. They're trying to work through the sadness. And so fast forward to one evening. This was probably about 2 years, and it's on the anniversary of Mary's passing due to the fire. Michelle's grandmother comes by, and Michelle's grandmother has the tendency to watch these spooky type TV shows where they're like hunting ghosts, or like the really intense investigative discovery shows. And you know, she watches them by herself. She's a grown woman. She's been on this earth long enough to not be afraid by a lot of things that you and I are afraid of. So she goes to join her grandmother downstairs. And as she's going downstairs, she feels a tap on her shoulder, and she turns around and it's Mary. And Mary says, "Oh my goodness, I missed you. Do you want to come with me? I want to show you something really cool." And so Michelle was like, "No, the last time you did that, I didn't see you for a really long time. Where were you? Your mom and your dad are really sad." Mary's like, "I couldn't talk to them. I was really scared. And I think that I made a really big mistake. But I miss you and I want you to come with me. It's really cool. I have so many things to show you." And Michelle and her are going back and forth, and Michelle's like, no, go see your parents. They miss you. Michelle's not understanding what's going on. She's not understanding that Mary is not alive, that she's not actually speaking to Mary in the flesh. She's like, go talk to your parents. They're really sad. She at least understands that. And unfortunately, when you witness such sad things at a young age, you begin to understand things that adults still are having a hard time grasping, which is very unfortunate. It's very sad. So Mary's pushing it. Mary's like, "No, you have to come with me. We're best friends. We're BFFs. We're best friends forever. You need to come with me. Come with me." And she's like, "No, my mom's gonna be sad. My dad's gonna be sad. My grandma's waiting for me. I want to stay here with my family." And then Mary gets very upset and she pushes her down the steps. And Michelle's mom hears the commotion. So she was like, "Oh my God." And she runs down and she picks Michelle up and she's like, "What happened to you? I thought you were already down here. I thought that you were talking to your grandmother. Who were you up there talking to?" And she was like, "Mom, I was talking to Mary. She's fine. She's fine." And then she sees all of the color on her mother's face completely drain. Obviously, at that time, she didn't understand what was going on. She had no idea what was going on. That was the very first encounter that Michelle has ever had like that. And she said it had opened her eyes. You know, there are a lot of things that she didn't understand then that she understands now as an adult. You know, as I was saying before, as a child, there are certain things you're not supposed to understand. And when you deal with grief, when you deal with loss in that magnitude, within that tragedy, you begin to experience things that other people cannot even fathom to experience. And I feel like these experiences flock to you because they sense your stronger sense of understanding. And when you have that power, like I keep telling you guys with all of these stories, you gotta be really careful. You gotta cover yourself, protect yourself. You gotta be careful out here in these streets. It's a lot going on. Anyways, let's thank Michelle. That's obviously not her real name, but just she'll know when she sees this story. Thank you for sharing this. Remember to hit the like, remember to hit the subscribe, check out my literary masterpieces, my other stories, become a member, and check out my editor, who is also a dope audio engineer and animator, Blake Quake Beats. Thank you for joining. Have a splendid time of day.